First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Welcome to WUFT News First at 5. I'm Loren, Miranda.
And I'm Caitlyn, Schiffer. Thanks for joining us.
We begin with a local county rallying together to help neighbors who will soon be out of a job.
Last month, we told you about Georgia Pacific closing their Perry plant, impacting more than 500 employees. WUFT's Bianca Smith is live in the studio, and Bianca, community leaders are not letting the mill close without a fight.
That's right, Caitlyn. Georgia Pacific Cellulose Paper Mill will close within a matter of weeks. The mill is the area's largest employer, and since last month's closing announcement, city leaders and members of the community have been working to keep those employees from losing their livelihoods. Although the GP says that they plan to permanently close the facility, a group known as the Citizens Action Task Force is working hard to find a buyer. The group is trying to identify a company that can negotiate a purchase of the plant and resume operation. They have also been vocal on social media about their feelings. One commenter on Facebook said that he feels heartbroken and the effects of the closing mill will spread beyond those who were employed. Congressman Neil Dunn has also been vocal about the mill's closing since it was announced. He released a statement saying the GP ought to be ashamed. Congressman Dunn says that he's known the GP to be a leader in business and family values, but none of this was displayed in those actions. Dunn has issued a list of demands to the GP, which include extended health benefits, organized food banks for at least 6 months, and more. I reached out to the congressman about if the GP has met his list of demands, and I am waiting to hear back. On Wednesday, Career Source North Florida, Florida Commerce, and Taylor County Chambers of Commerce will be hosting a career fair and resource fair for those impacted. The fair will take place at Forest Capitol Hall from 9 to 3. Reporting live in the studio, Bianca Smith, WUFT News.
Lauren, it's been a little chilly here in Gainesville.
It definitely has. Let's go to Derrah for the weather forecast for the week.
It's been chilly, but nice. We've had partly cloudy skies for the majority of the day, and we'll see that dry air start to work in, which will clear some of those clouds out as we head into the overnight hours. It's 67 degrees right now. We have those winds coming at us from the north at 10 miles per hour, so it's making for a pretty breezy afternoon. We're at 69 in Ocala, 68 in Palatka, and 68 in Jacksonville. So most of us are seeing temperatures in the upper 60s, but that's about to change. We're going to be cooling down to the 50s by 9, 10 o'clock, and then overnight we're expecting 40s for a change. We'll talk more about that, and I'll talk about the tropics with you, and I see you in just a couple of minutes.
Deputies in Marion County need your help solving a double murder investigation that happened over the weekend. Investigators responded to a suspicious incident at home in the Whispering Sands community Sunday morning. When deputies arrived, they found a man and a woman dead from gunshot wounds. The sheriff's office is asking neighbors if they saw anything that could be related to this crime. Please contact the Marion County Sheriff's Office.
Gainesville city leaders are in Tallahassee today to discuss a recent audit.
WUFT's Hartnett has been staying up to date with the discussions currently happening.
That's right. I've been following the committee meeting. Audit Manager Derek Noonan and Gainesville Mayor Harvey Ward were questioned by the Joint Legislative Auditing Committee, or JLAC, regarding last year's audit. The committee identified 18 issues last year, including GRU's debt and money transfers to the city budget. A preliminary report showed the city corrected 8 issues, partially corrected 6 findings, and no longer need to be addressed. Ward told the committee about efforts the city has taken, such as rescinding pay raises, the city manager taking a pay cut, and decreasing funding for other departments other than public safety. GRU's debt is currently at $1.8 billion, which is higher than similar municipalities. Florida passed a law this year shifting the control of GRU from the City Commission to a state-appointed board, whose members were sworn in earlier this month. Another topic discussed was the discontinuation of the Reichert House. Committee members began discussing other alternatives to help the youth in Gainesville. Reporting live from the studio, Hartnett, WUFT News.
Gainesville Parks and Rec has something to celebrate. It earned a perfect score during the most recent audit. The Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs was accredited with flying colors. It passed 100% of its evaluations this year. The PRCA is assessed in 154 areas, ranging from the safety to community impact. In past years, the PRCA failed assessments on disability inclusion. Now the department has made the inclusion of all people a priority.
Wild Spaces Public Places Initiative, which is part of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs, and they created a completely inclusive, both physically and sensory playground.
This is the third time the PRCA has been re-accredited. The department is reviewed again every 5 years. The City of Gainesville's flood insurance program
has just moved to Class 6 in the community rating system. WUFT's Jamie Goldman tells us what this means for Gainesville homeowners.
Exactly, Loren. Homeowners like the ones in Black Acres will be experiencing a decrease in flood insurance rates thanks to the new Class 6 classification.
We haven't had anything here to worry about at all. So I know we will not get it.
That's the thought of many neighbors in the Black Acres community located behind Lollably Park's Hogtown Creek. But that could change thanks to a new classification which will lower neighbors' premiums by up to 20%. That's according to Andy Renshaw, the City of Gainesville's floodplain administrator.
Doing a collaborative effort, we were able to do more for outreach and information, as well as some regulatory items. And so through that, we get a scoring from FEMA for those things that we do above and beyond the minimums.
The effort to obtain the new classification has been going on since 2021. The Black Acres neighborhood is one of many within the city that is prone to flooding, and homeowner Regina Hillman says the last big flood happened during Hurricane Irma in 2017.
I've taken films in the past when we had a bad storm. I think it was Irma, and I can tell you that it was rolling. It was really rolling. It was like rapids back there.
She captured these flooding videos on her phone and is glad to see insurance rates are dropping.
If I had any issues, if I'd already experienced anything, I would get it. I mean, you know, water can do some real damage. And what I saw down there with the rapids, the way it looked, it would do damage to somebody's back porch or something like that for sure.
The new classification went into effect on October 1st.
City staff are expected to present an update to the Gainesville City Commission at its next meeting on October 19th. Live in studio, Jamie Goldman, WUFT News.
In honor of National School Bus Safety and Awareness Week, the Alachua County Sheriff's Office is beefing up patrols to make sure students stay safe. Alachua County deputies are participating in Operation Bluebird. They will be patrolling bus stops to enforce school bus-related traffic laws. This graphic posted by ACSO shows what to do around a school bus when picking up or dropping off students in a car.
And Florida families were welcomed back home to the United States from Israel yesterday. Who greeted them and how many people got home safe? All of that when we come back.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome back. Families of Americans fleeing the violence in Israel began arriving in Florida over the weekend. Nearly 300 arrived to Tampa on a chartered flight last night. They were stranded after Hamas fighters attacked the Jewish state 9 days ago. Governor Ron DeSantis and his wife Casey greeted passengers as they stepped off the plane. The governor said another flight came into Orlando over the weekend, and he's glad Florida was able to help those in need.
First big plane load. 270 people here. I think if you were watching, you saw a lot of families with young kids. So a lot of these people were in a real pinch. They had no help. They were not able to get out of Israel. And the state of Florida stepped up and answered the call.
The state partnered with the nonprofit group Project Dynamo to bring U.S. evacuees to Florida. Governor DeSantis says he expects there will be more flights in coming days.
Watson C&D landfill wants to expand in Alachua County. They collect 60% of Gainesville's waste. Watson C&D submitted 2 expansion permits, a special use permit and a development permit. The special use permit was approved in February, but Watson is currently under development review by the Alachua County Environmental Protection Department and Growth Management. They responded to the 3rd insufficiency report October 2nd, and the EPD has about 2 weeks to review it. County commissioners are meeting November 2nd to discuss it.
Neighbors are invited to share their ideas about the Thelma A. Bolton Center. City officials say the purpose of the community engagement session is to gain input on improvements and how the community will use the center in the future. Commissioners have approved more than $5 million to help restore the historic building. The engagement session is tomorrow evening from 6 to 7:30 in Building A of the Thomas Center on 6th Avenue.
A program is offering free smoke alarms to homeowners in Ocala.
Safe or Smoke Alarms for Escape is a program ran by Ocala Fire Rescue. The program offers free smoke alarms and installation to homeowners living in the city. Neighbors can request a smoke alarm by visiting the Ocala Fire Rescue's office.
Temperatures are about 5 degrees cooler than we were this time yesterday, but it's about to get so much cooler this evening. We'll talk about that cool down and we'll talk about the tropics when I see you on the other side of the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Here's a live look over Crystal River right now. We're seeing those clouds beginning to clear out. We do have some high pressure moving in, which will work to clear some of those clouds out as we head into the overnight hours. We're at 67 degrees right now. We have those winds coming at us from the north at 10 miles per hour, which is helping to add an extra chill in the air. So far today, we didn't even make it to 70 degrees. 69 was our high today in Gainesville, 68 in Stark, 70s down south, but we're barely in the 70s after we had that cold front move through. So that knocked temperatures well below average. We're supposed to be in the low 80s right now. We're barely making it into the 70s. So huge change from what we saw over the previous weeks with dew points in the upper 40s, not a lot of moisture in the air. So we're going to continue to see those chilly conditions over the next couple of days with that dominant northwesterly flow. We have gusts close to 20 miles per hour over in Jacksonville, down in Crystal River, but in the interior we're looking at around 10 to 15 miles per hour. So that cold front cleared on out yesterday, and now look at all of this dry air that we have moving into the area. Now that's going to knock temperatures down into the mid 40s tonight. 45 is the low here in Gainesville, 44 in Alachua, and 46 in Micanopy, and then 50 in the Villages, upper 40s to the north of Marion County. So as you plan your day tomorrow, you're definitely not going to want to forget that jacket on your way out the door, and you'll want to keep it close to you throughout the day tomorrow because we'll only be warming up to 68 degrees by the early afternoon hours. Highs barely 70 degrees, upper 60s as we get back toward the Big Bend. So overall, we're going to continue to see this cooling trend over the next couple of days. Wednesday morning, you'll still be waking up to temperatures in the upper 40s, maybe mid 50s as you get toward the coast. And then we'll slowly see those temperatures near record lows, but remaining cool as we get into the middle portion of the week. We have that area of high pressure that'll lift to the northeast and then work to build in some more moisture as we'll switch to that easterly flow. So temperatures going to be climbing into the low 80s by the end of next week.
The Gators secured a very close win on the road. Stay tuned after the break to hear all about how the Gators were able to pull through for that win.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome to your favorite part of the show, sports, with me, Talia Baia. Over the weekend, the Florida football team hit the road and took down South Carolina 41-39. The Gators are now 5-2 and 3-1 in the SEC. Now, let's talk about the star of the game who was named SEC Offensive Player of the Week, quarterback Graham Mertz. Mertz finished 30 of 48 passing for a career-high 423 yards. He also added in 3 touchdown passes. His #1 receiver, Ricky Pearsall, also looked good. He had 10 catches for 166 yards. But one of the toughest drives of the season came in the final minutes when Mertz converted 4th downs to Arliss Boardingham and Pearsall to keep the Gators' hopes alive. Then Mertz found Pearsall with 47 seconds left to put the Gators on top, stunning the Gamecocks and Columbia. Here's head coach Billy Napier on how he thinks the team did.
I'm just really proud of the team's resolve. You know, there's a lot of times out there tonight where they could have folded their cards now, okay? And we didn't do that. And some incredible plays, some incredible extra effort plays.
The Gators are heading into their bye week before diving back into SEC play on October 28th. It will be Florida's annual showdown against Georgia and Jacksonville. And here's a bit of good news for the Gators. Georgia's worst nightmare is coming true. Their starting tight end, Brock Bowers, has officially been ruled out due to an ankle injury. Kickoff is set for 3:30 p.m. sharp, so don't miss it. In the world of high school football, there were multiple crosstown matchups on Friday. Oak Hall, Buchholz, and Hawthorne all remain undefeated with 7-0 records. The Eagles defeated PK Yonge 20-8, while the Bobcats took down Oakleaf 38-3. Lastly, the Hornets dominated Union County 28-0. Big news about the 2028 Olympics just dropped today. The event will be adding 6 sports in addition to coming back to the U.S. Joining us live now is Bennett Solomon at the Gator Softball Complex on what this means for college athletes.
Today, the International Olympic Committee announced 6 sports will be added to the 2028 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles. Baseball, softball, cricket, and lacrosse will return to the Olympics, and squash and flag football will be played for the first time ever in the competition. United States and international competition. This past summer, Florida baseball players Jack Caglione and Brandon Neely played for the U.S. Collegiate National Team. And in softball, 3 former Gators have Olympic experience with the U.S. Kelsey Stewart, Aubrey Monroe, and Michelle Moultrie wore the red, white, and blue across their chest in the 2021 Tokyo Olympics, winning the silver medal. And with the United States hosting the 2028 Olympics in California, multiple Gator athletes will have the chance to represent their country on the biggest stage. With WUFT News, I'm Bennett Solomon.
Well, that's a wrap for sports. I'm Talia Baia. Thanks for tuning in.
Before we go, let's get one last check on the weather. Derrah?
I did want to take y'all out to the tropics. We have this broad area of low pressure that we're monitoring that could become a tropical depression by the middle of the week. Now, our next named storm is Tammy, so what you're looking at could be our next named storm. It is producing some disorganized thunder showers right now, and satellite data is showing that it could become more well organized. The eye wall is becoming more well organized as we speak, so temperatures climbing up into the middle 80s after that cold stretch ends, and then we're slowly going to climb back into the low 70s over the weekend. Now, we do have another cold front pushing through, which isn't going to knock temperatures down as low as what we saw these past couple of days and what we'll continue to see throughout the next couple of nights with lows in the 40s and 50s. But overall, we will be seeing those cooler and more breezy conditions as we head toward the beginning of next week, and then slowly climbing back near normal into the mid and even upper 80s by the middle of next week.
Thanks, Derrah. BBC World News is next, and the PBS NewsHour is coming up at 7.
But your Florida news is always on at WUFT.org. Have a great night.